Good evening, everybody. Answers by Guest, Week 15. Here's Rob. We're in Rob's basement this time around. Special playoff edition, semifinal round. A little bit of a caveat here, a little bit of a preface, prologue. I'm playing against this guy in one league this week here, so I got to be careful with the things I give out. But
He's going complete opposite, guys.
I'm gonna try and be 100% honest because I know it's all about you guys and less about us.
And if you guys are, this is week 15. If you're here and you're watching this, that means you're in the playoffs. That means you're going for hopefully some good league stuff, we'll say. So, all right, guys, Saturday games, man. Let's jump into those first.
I like it.
Chicago at Detroit, division game. Stafford didn't look like he had any problems with his injury or anything like that we were worried about the week before. Marvin Jones coming through again. Chicago's an interesting team still, man, to me. I think that Chicago can win this game. It's in Detroit, but I don't know. Chicago just seems like they play their division really well. Tell me who you're thinking.
Well, I said, I believe it was week 1, and a few times after that Chicago was the best, worst team in the league. They're still up there, close to that category at the very least. They finally let Trubisky loose a little bit last week. Paid off. He played really well. The receivers, though, Inman, I don't think he even had a single catch last week. I'm not playing anybody on Chicago unless it's Jordan Howard. Detroit's run defense, I've been saying it for weeks, most people have figured it out by now, is not very good. They've fallen off. I do like the Detroit defense this week. If your other options aren't very good, like if you have Houston as your team or even the Patriots as your defense, throw Detroit's defense out there. It's probably going to be Riddick. I think this big Golden Tate game, he hasn't really had that blow-up game. Obviously, Marvin Jones, I'm playing against him in a league or two, so I hope he doesn't do much. But I honestly, the bottom of my heart, which could mean Jones does blow up, I think it's going to be Tate and Ebron. I've been saying Ebron the past few weeks, man.
Yeah, Ebron was good, man.
I think it's going to be those two, and I think on the flip side, it's Howard. I don't really like Stafford too much in this one. But if he's your option, if he's your backup and you had Wentz, then you could do worse.
Yeah, dude, Ebron actually 10 receptions, 94 yards last week. You definitely called Ebron. You've been calling Ebron for quite some time. Theo Riddick with a big game, even though only 29 yards and 2 touchdowns as a rushing. He actually looked pretty good too. I think I'm going to be playing Riddick this week, just because it's either him or Coleman, and Coleman's questionable. Tevin Coleman from the Falcons, so might as well take my chances with Riddick on a Saturday. So
we talked about him a couple times. Adam Sheehan for the Bears.
He likes it, man.
Yeah, and it's kind of tough because I feel like he's going to be a breakout, but I don't really know. I don't know if he's just going to be another guy because he's not showing too much. He's looked good. I was high on him a couple weeks ago. We were trying to figure out what the hell his name was. But I think you could do better at tight end this week. If you're in semifinals, you probably should look elsewhere. Ricky Seals-Jones, Steven Anderson type of thing.
All right, interesting. Let's go on to the next one. Los Angeles Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs.
Excited about this one.
Me too, man. I honestly think this is going to be a real high-scoring game. In my opinion, I think I'm playing everybody. Even the smaller guys like a Benjamin or something like that on San Diego, because both defenses, don't get me wrong, Chargers defense is definitely better than the Chiefs defense. But again, division game, I just think that this is literally going to be a shootout. Alex Smith is going to be like, you know what? I'm going to put up numbers, match me Phillip Rivers. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, here's the issue with this one. Nobody's going to bench him. And again, I'm playing against him in 2 leagues, so I don't know if it's my heart or my head, but Phillip Rivers does not play well in Arrowhead. He has not in at least the last 4 or 5 years. This is a night game in Arrowhead, basically for the division. It is going to be cold. Marcus Peters is back. I think Rivers is a bust this week.
Ooh.
I do not see Rivers having a good game. I think he gets picked off at least twice. I think they shut down Keenan Allen. I think if you own a wide receiver for the Chargers, Benjamin, like you said, is your guy to get loose for at least 1 or 2. On the flip side, I really like Kareem Hunt. I mean,
They actually gave him the ball.
Right.
They gave him the ball.
I feel like they figured it out. Like if we have to give him more than 10 touches. You know, we can't give him 8 in the first half and 1 or 2 in the second. They gave him 25, I think, last week.
25, 116, and 1.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be him, and I think this is gonna be a really big game for Tyreek Hill. And of course, you can't bench Kelsey if you have him. I think the Chiefs win this one pretty easily, and a lot of people, you know, might not think that because the Chargers are so hot. But the NFL, I've been saying this the past few weeks, and I've been killing some of these upset picks. If you're watching the videos, you know, when everybody's zigging, you got to zag. I think that Rivers has been so hot, probably one of the hottest quarterbacks other than Russell Wilson and Carson Wentz, who went down. I don't think Rivers has a good week this week. If you have Rivers and somebody else, even like Blake Bortles, I play Bortles over Rivers this week. I don't like this matchup for him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to bench Keenan Allen at this point. And he's going to deliver wide receiver 3 value at least. But I just think Marcus Peters coming back from a suspension. This place is going to be live on a Saturday night. You got to imagine it's like a Sunday night game or a Monday night game. It's not like a Thursday night game, and even if it was, the home team usually does a little bit better. I mean, last night was an anomaly, so we can't even worry about that. But Rivers does not play well in Kansas City. I think Kansas City wins this. You want to get your Chiefs in the game.
Interesting. Yeah, I tried that zigzag thing last night and played T.Y. Hilton, and yeah, what a disappointment that was. All right, let's go on to the Sunday games, man. Miami at Buffalo. Did you see that Buffalo game last week?
I did not.
Holy crap.
I just saw the clips. I was working.
Red Zone, honestly, was so in love with that game. I think they played most of that one. I mean, the snow, them diving. I mean, it was literally... There was one catch I remember Benjamin catching on the side, and they're like, was his feet in? Who the hell could tell?
Did they call it a catch?
They did call it a catch. So,
Okay.
like, you can't reverse it. I mean, from that standpoint. So Buffalo. I mean, could it be the same weather? Miami. Drake. They beat the Patriots. I mean, I think you called that. I think you called the Miami shutout. I mean, the Miami beating them.
I did.
Yeah. I mean, mind blowing. Again, another division game. I can see Miami taking this one actually in Buffalo too. What do you think?
I think Buffalo wins.
Ooh, going opposite.
And, yeah, it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. You know,
Oh yeah, Tyrod's back.
He's been playing okay. He keeps getting hurt. He can't stay healthy. The problem I run into here is that it's in Buffalo, and Miami is coming off of a short week, and they basically just won their Super Bowl. They're not going anywhere. They beat the Patriots. That makes them happy. Cutler went out and drank a few six-packs. And, you know, the Buffalo defense is not great. And neither is the Miami defense, so it could turn into a little bit of a shootout. You're going to play Landry. I wouldn't feel 100% safe with Cutler, although he is good in the colder weather. There's not going to be snow this week. I think it's like a 6% chance. McCoy, obviously going to start him. I hope he doesn't do well, but you got to start him. Drake as well, even though Williams might play this week, I don't think he's going to eat into it too much because Drake's pretty much cemented that role. You cannot play Devontae Parker. You cannot play Kenny Stills. You are in the semifinals or at least the quarterfinals if your championship is week 17. Or maybe the championship. Some people do like 2-week championships.
Yeah, interesting.
Which is pretty cool because then if you had a bad week, at least you don't get screwed. But I think Buffalo wins this one. I think it's kind of close and kind of low scoring. I want to say like a 21-20 Buffalo. I would stay away from as many players as I could in this game. But, I mean, your studs you got to play. You're going to play Landry. You're going to play McCoy. I'm not touching Tyrod. I'm not touching Cutler in this one. I just think the Dolphins are going to come a little bit flat. They won their Super Bowl late Monday night. Partied a little bit, probably were really excited, and then they got to travel up to Buffalo, which is one of the toughest places to play. It's either Buffalo or Arrowhead, like I just talked about. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely can see that. I'm kind of contemplating Benjamin. He's questionable this week, but
That's the thing.
I mean,
like,
Tyrod's back. I honestly think he has a better relationship with Peterman than he actually has with Tyrod. But him being questionable, it doesn't help the situation.
Yeah, the problem is, can Kelvin stay healthy for a whole game?
Yeah.
And Zay Jones has now fallen behind Deontay Thompson. and I hope you're not in the semifinals playing Deontay Thompson. If you're in a consolation tournament, maybe for like a draft pick next year or draft order or something like that, maybe he's a good guy to throw out there, because what happened last week is, just like I said, Brady doesn't play that well in Miami. Miami plays the Patriots really well. They just had a perfect game plan. They outcoached, you've heard it everywhere, they outcoached Bill Belichick. Very hard to do. They pulled
didn't
it
have a
off.
third down conversion, dude.
Yeah, they pulled it
First
off.
time since 1991 I saw. That's crazy.
Well, I don't think they had a completion to a receiver until the third quarter.
Yeah, mind-blowing game, man. You know what? I actually missed a lot of that game, but again, I should have watched that division game just because of the Jets, and all that stuff. But again,
I think what I said in last week's video was the Patriots' game plan would be to utilize the short passes and the running backs, and that's what they did. Unfortunately, Miami maybe watched our video, and they knew that was going to be their game plan because they were all over it.
Yeah.
I mean, the running backs had a good game, but they had a way to stop it. And
yeah,
shut
they
down
were
the
stacking the
receivers.
box, it looked like, from what I
Yeah.
saw here and there. So, all right, let's go on to the next one. Baltimore at Cleveland. Alec Collins is the truth now to me. I'm watching this kid grow as a running back. He is a solid player. He's a downhill runner. He has speed, and he's just shifty, man. Nobody can tackle him, I feel like. I'm saying stay away from Baltimore receivers. Flacco as well. I'm going to play Baltimore D, though, this week, obviously, against Cleveland. But Cleveland's showing some life. Gordon is back, man. Coleman had a touchdown last week. Kaiser looking more comfortable. Defense playing well. Could this be their first win against a division team?
I mean, I've been trying to say it the past couple weeks. I thought for sure they'd beat Green Bay. I think Green Bay got lucky to get out of there with that win. I have no idea how the Packers pulled that off. And I said, like an idiot, I mean, I was 100% wrong, Jamal Williams, to sit him against Cleveland. But, I mean, when we get to the Green Bay game, I'll talk about him. But Cleveland has a great run defense. So you talk about Alex Collins, like, yeah, I mean, he's been killing it. But Cleveland has that good run defense. And this is a division game. Baltimore's not that good. They looked pretty good last week. But I don't know. I'm going to play Gordon. I put Gordon in.
I'm sorry, Gordon, too, as a my flex, man.
I put him in DFS. He's getting up there as far as cost is, in those leagues, DraftKings and FanDuel. But I like Gordon this week. Duke Johnson is somebody I think he's hasn't been doing too much. I called Isaiah Crowell last week against Green Bay. He had a really good game. Duke Johnson, I think this week, I think that's how you're going to beat Baltimore. Quick, short passes, especially with Kaiser as your quarterback. I mean, he's looked better, but he's still just not good enough. Maybe next year.
Gotcha. I mean, that Baltimore Steelers game was crazy, man. Oh my gosh.
They should have won.
Crazy. They should have won. They buried themselves.
Yeah. I think I said Baltimore doing that one.
Yeah, I mean, 38-39 game. I mean, it came down to the last couple plays. Mind-blowing stuff. All right, let's go on to the next one. Cincinnati at Minnesota. This is, I don't know. I think Minnesota takes this hands down. Are you starting all your receivers in Minnesota? Rudolph, Diggs, Thielen. What running back are you thinking? And Cincy, Gio, you called him. He actually had a really good game, and I think he led them in receiving and rushing last week. So, do you play Gio again? Is Mixon coming back? What are you thinking?
Mixon cleared protocol. So Mixon will be the lead dog, but you're going to see probably like a 60-40. I think Gio has carved out a nice role. So you're going to have a little bit more Gio. Will you play him in the championship or the semifinal? I don't know if you will. AJ Green, you're going to want to play him, although he is going to be going against Rhodes, and that is just tough.
Especially at Minnesota at home, too, man.
Right.
That new stadium's loud.
Croft is healthy. He's off the injury report now. So he's a tight end if you really got to play him. Problem with Cincinnati is that their defense is so banged up. They have so many guys out. So Minnesota's going to run all over them. So you have to think that if you got any Cincinnati guys, you're hoping they're playing catch up the entire time. I do like Minnesota like crazy this week. I think Diggs has a really good game. I think Diggs is my splash play this week. He's had a few, down games. Rudolph's not playing. So it's going to be Diggs and it's going to be Thielen. I think you're going to see a lot of McKinnon in this one as well. They're going to try and pound it with Latavius. So I think you're dead on. Play your Vikings. They are at home for the first time in 3 weeks. They are going to be ready to put a hurting on Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati got blown out by Chicago last week, man. Mind blowing.
Right.
Yeah, but you're right. AJ Green and Xavier Rhodes, man. That's just a tough matchup. It doesn't matter what wide receiver it is. It just seems like Xavier Rhodes is shutting those guys down. So
Yeah, and I need a big week out of AJ Green, so it's just, I mean,
it's in the cards, I guess, that way. All right, let's go on to the next one. My New York Jets at New Orleans. Jets didn't look good last week. They lost their quarterback. Petty now is the quarterback. I think it just downgrades everybody. The only thing I can see it being positive is you're going to see a little bit more Matt Forte. You're going to see a little bit more Powell, a little bit more McGuire. They're going to rely on that run, I think, a lot this week. New Orleans, though, I think literally scores 28 points the first quarter, and then they just coast the rest of the way. What are you thinking?
yeah, I think that everybody and, their pets think that New Orleans is just going to blow them out. This line opened at like 13. It's up to like 16.5. And people are still pounding it. I actually don't think the Jets are going to do too poorly. I really don't.
Their defense is good, man.
Petty hasn't played in the regular season, really. He played the last game of the preseason when the Jets were supposed to be the worst team in the league and not win a game. The Giants were supposed to be one of the best teams in the league and probably go to the Super Bowl. They were one of everybody's dark horses. And Petty started that game, went 250 yards and 2 touchdowns against, it was the 4th game of the preseason, but he looked good starting a game. The Saints defense, I've been down on them all year. People have been up on them. They are getting their cornerbacks back, but the Jets have been smart this year. They never really play out of McCown's realm. I don't think they're going to play out of Petty's realm. I think they're going to do a lot of what you said. I think the running backs, you can't really play them because there's a 3-headed monster. They're going to cancel each other out. Anderson is feeling good. Curse. I actually think they hang with them a little bit. And on the flip side, again, I have Michael Thomas. Need him to have a big game. But I think now that Kamara's back, they are going to want to reinstitute the running. That's what the Saints want to do.
Yeah.
They want to run the ball, take it out of Breeze's hands as much as possible. So I'd be nervous if I was a Saints fan that they overlooked the Jets. I know they're coming off a loss, but they have a big game next week. I'd be nervous they overlook them at home and the Jets catch them off guard early. I do think the Saints win, but I think it's a little closer than people think. You got to play your Saints running backs. You're going to play Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
The Jets, they're going to be playing catch-up at worst. So you're going to play Robbie Anderson. You made this far with him. I wouldn't touch the running backs. Safarian Jenkins kind of fell off.
Yeah. After those touchdowns they took away, it seems like it demoralized him, man. He's just like, stupid game kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think I play Ginn in this one.
Okay.
I don't see them having to take deep shots.
I'm kind of, and this maybe I'm just thinking the opposite. I honestly think the defense for the Jets is actually good enough to stop the Mark Ingram part of the game. I don't think they stop Kamara, but I think they stop the Mark Ingram part of the game, which is going to have Breeze then throwing to those kind of guys. Again, just watching the Jets consistently and knowing them, their defensive line is antsy for this game. They really want to show. Denver beat us because we got caught off guard because we lost our quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That is not us.
Mm-hmm.
And I just mentioned, don't get me wrong, I said they could be down 28-zip, but I think it's going to be more of passing, and Drew Brees actually is going to be more involved in this game because the secondary is not the greatest. Don't get me wrong, the safeties are playing well, but I think they stopped the running a little bit. But we'll see what happens. We can flip a coin. We're going against each other this week, so maybe that's why I'm thinking a little bit differently.
I don't know. I just think the Jets stay within 2 touchdowns the entire game.
Okay. Cover the spread.
No, yeah, easily.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Philly at the New York Giants. I dropped Carson Wentz. It broke my heart, man. That guy was MVP in my mind, to be honest with you. Foles did not look good when he came in. Do they rely now more on Ajayi and Blunt? Do they go to Clement more? Is it kind of the same situation that's happening to the Jets? You know, you have so many good receivers. Is it Foles going to not be able to produce with those receivers? I'm nervous about starting Alshon Jeffrey this week. As far as the flip side, Giants, I thought they were going to destroy the Cowboys. Complete opposite. Cowboys destroyed them. They look. I mean, Eli threw a touchdown, but it was just like, that's Eli made it. And now I understand why they benched him.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Couple things there. I want to say like the Giants were tied 10-10 with like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter or something like that, and then just fell
Rod
apart.
Smith, yeah,
Gave
Rod
up
Smith
3
went off on
touchdowns,
them.
2 touchdowns in like a minute. Yeah, the Giants are no good. Eli stinks. I've been saying that my whole life. On the flip side, the Eagles. How bad was Foles really? Because I watched him, and I didn't think that he looked terrible.
Maybe I'm just comparing it to Wentz because Wentz just looks like he's such a great quarterback that when Foles came in there,
they're going to game plan this. I think this is a week where, and this is a decision I might be making. I might be having. We'll talk about him. Put DeAndre Hopkins on the bench. We'll talk about him. I might put Jay Ajayi in this week because Philly has to be thinking. You know, let's protect our team a little bit. You know. Let's win this game that we should win. We have 2 to 3 really good running backs. Let's use them. Ajayi, after Blunt was terrible last week in the first half, they started using Ajayi more. He wound up with 15 plus carries. He ran really well. I think Ajayi's going to have a pretty good game. He's a sneaky start at running back. If you made it this far with him as your starter in the beginning of the season, and your backup up until now, he's somebody I think you can put in there. It's probably going to go over 100 and have at least 1 touchdown. Zach Ertz coming back, it makes me nervous. The last time he was out with an injury, came back and laid a dud. This was a different injury. The last time was a leg, I believe. Now it was a concussion, so how will he do? Backup quarterbacks, everybody knows who's the best friend.
Tight end.
The tight end.
Will be more Burton, though.
Right. Will they go Ertz, Burton, and then Aguilar, Jeffrey? You know, 2 wide, 2 tight end. So it's tough. I mean, I'm playing Ertz, but like part of me wants to maybe bench him, but I won't because he got me this far for Austin Hooper to get a little Monday Night Magic going against those terrible Bucks. But I'm going to play Ertz. You should play Jeffrey, play Aguilar, play Ajayi, and on the Giants.
Ingram?
Ingram?
Yeah,
Shepard's banged up again.
I honestly wouldn't play anybody. But Ingram would be my only choice, and I'm honestly in the same boat. I'm thinking about playing Hooper for Monday night instead of Ingram just because. I mean, but who else does Eli throw to? I mean, Ellison did have the touchdown last week, so is he going to go to Ellison? Again, Ingram would be my only choice, but that's not with confidence.
I don't want anything to do with Giants. I think the Eagles' defense steps up pretty good in this one. I think they're going to say, you know, our quarterback's down, let's rise up for our offense.
Somebody in a QB pinch, would you pick up a Foles? They lost Wentz, or
how pinchy are you?
You said Phillip Rivers doesn't seem
You're
like
in a 14-team league, and everybody's got 2. Yeah, pick them up. And Wentz was your one guy.
Yeah,
I mean, there's other guys this week. I mean,
I picked up Garoppolo, man. I think that he's.
I play Garoppolo or Bortles over Foles.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. Arizona at Washington. I'm gonna just let you take this one because I mean, Jameson Crowder, I would say from Washington.
Yeah.
I can see Perrine having a good game. Perine having a good game. Arizona, Larry Fitz. They're talking about Williams going to be getting a lot of touches too from the backfield. I don't know. I still like that kid Foster, but what are you thinking?
Fitz, sure. If you got him in your 3, you know he's got you this far. Why not? Washington defense isn't great. I think they're going to be playing catch up. I think Washington lays the wood on them in this one. They're back home. Cousins is usually better at home. The Arizona defense isn't great. You're probably going to have Peterson on Doxson, so Crowder's your guy going against the Honey Badger. Perine, I mean, he's the only running back standing. And I'm really flip-flopping him or Jamal Williams. but I'm gonna go with Jamal Williams because A-Rod's back. But P. Ryan should kill it. He really should. He's gonna be their pass catching back. He's gonna be the running back. I wouldn't play Vernon Davis. I hear people talking about, playing him or Niles Paul. I don't want anything to do with him. Give me Crowder, P. Ryan, Cousins if I need a solid quarterback. I think he's going to tear it up. He'll have a rushing touchdown. Fitz, maybe. Seals Jones if I need a tight end. I really think this one's lopsided. I think they're two very even teams. Washington maybe a little better. But I just have a feeling Washington beats them good this week.
Gotcha. I actually see a lot of a lot of teams picking up Washington defense this week.
Yeah.
I found that kind of interesting. I would go more with the Detroit defense than a Washington defense, but.
Me too.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Tough game, man. Green Bay at Carolina. Carolina coming off a big win against Minnesota. I honestly think this team has just gotten so much better since they've let Benjamin go.
Yeah.
Olsen has been a dud. But, Funchess is playing well. He likes McCaffrey. Stewart went off. I think I called Stewart, if I'm not mistaken. Green Bay, like you said, a game they shouldn't have won, but they did. A-Rod's back. Me personally, I think Jordy goes for like 202 touchdowns this game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, A-Rod's going to feed him.
Yeah.
He pretty much said.
Yeah, it's his best friend.
Yeah. So you're going to put Jordy back in your lineup as a 3. He can't be any worse than that in your team or even a flex. Put him in there. I'm also going to play Adams, and I'm going to play Cobb, and I'm going to play Williams. And if I got Rodgers, I'll probably play him too.
Rodgers.
You really can't go wrong because their defense, Cam Newton's my number 1 quarterback this week. I think he kills it. I think he gets rushing yards, passing yards, a rushing touchdown, at least 1 passing touchdown. I think he absolutely tears it up this week. If you're going Cam or somebody else, I would play Cam this week. Green Bay, I have said this from the beginning. I say it every year. If there's one type of quarterback they are not good against, it is a rushing quarterback. That is it. If the Cowboys in the playoffs would have utilized Dak's legs, they never would have won last year. They're not good against rushing quarterbacks. They are also not good against speedy backs. And I've been saying this all year long, and that is CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Get him in your lineup. If you benched him for whatever reason and still survived, he's going to absolutely murder this week. I also think Olsen has a pretty good game. I think he comes back from the dead. You can probably get about 6 for 78, somewhere around there. Maybe a touchdown. Maybe he'll get the 1 passing one. I think they'll key in on Funchess a little bit more, and I think that's going to leave Olsen and Christian McCaffrey open a little bit more. I see this as a 1-point game. My heart wants Green Bay to win.
Carolina pulled it off against Minnesota last week.
I'm not 100% comfortable. I liked Carolina in that game. I called that one too.
Which is interesting. Do you see the last rush that Cam Newton had? It was for like 60-something yards. He just ran down the field.
Yeah, Minnesota was coming back, and then that was it.
That was it.
So I'm going to play all my Packers. I'm going to play all my Panthers. I think this game is going to be a fun one to watch.
You think Stewart does it again? He plays well as well, or
no?
No.
I don't think that they feature him that well. He got 3 touchdowns last week, but did he really look that good? Or did he just get the 3 touchdowns when they were close? You know what I mean?
That's true.
I would not chase those points. That's a perfect zigzag scenario. If you have Stewart on your bench and you're going to put him in over somebody like P. Ryan, I would think twice about that.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next one. Houston at Jacksonville. Jacksonville with an impressive win last week, man, against a surging Seattle team. I don't know. Jacksonville, you called D.D. Westbrook. He had a really good game.
He got his touchdown.
He got his touchdown, his first one of the year. Houston got Yates now, right? Savage is out. He's concussed. Did you see him? He was shaking, man. That was scary, to be honest with you. But DeAndre Hopkins still doesn't. It really does not matter what quarterback is back there. This man catches.
Deshaun Watson went
everything.
down, and people were all over the advice sites, and I'm saying,